A singular archaeological discovery was uncovered in the nearby coal mine in the Russian village of Rosavjic, Tosulsky District, Camarovo Region, in the beginning of September 1969. The miner Karnakov found a lengthy marble sarcophagus in the coal seam at a depth of more than 70 meters underground. Karnakov eventually perished under the wheels of a motorbike. It was made on the order of Alexander Alexandrovich Misalignment, who passed away in 1980. It was surprisingly accurate and beautifully built. An ulcer on the stomach was the official diagnosis. The sarcophagus was brought to the surface so that it could be opened, and all mining operations in the area were immediately halted. By progressively removing the fossilized seal around the edges, more from the sun's heat than from pressure, this unique sealing material transformed into a transparent liquid. After tasting it on his tongue, one of the workers went insane for a week and then froze at his house door in February. The coffin's lid fit the walls precisely, measuring 15 centimeters thick. But everyone watching was shocked by the opening itself. Under a tall, about 180 centimeters tall, slim woman of amazing beauty, around 30 years old, with fine European features and large, wide-open blue eyes, lay a sarcophagus filled to the brim with a pinkish-blue, crystal-clear liquid. Her waist was covered in thick, reddish-brown curls, and her pale hands, which had short, well-clipped fingernails, were casually draped over her torso. She wore a sheer, snow-white lace dress that fell just below her knees, with short sleeves decorated with vibrant flower embroidery. She appeared to be asleep, rather than dead, and wore nothing else. A black rectangular round metal box, roughly 25 centimeters by 10 centimeters, was remained inside the coffin lid. The entire hamlet came to witness the miracle, and the sarcophagus was available to the public from approximately 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The finding was reported right away to the district town. These soldiers, police, and firefighters arrived in a chopper. Out of the aircraft stepped a group of men dressed in civilian clothes who declared the location to be infectious and told everyone inside to vacate the grave. Then, apparently for an urgent medical evaluation, they roped off the area, took pictures of everyone who had touched the casket, and registered everyone who was standing close by. They removed the liquid after attempting to fit the sarcophagus inside the chopper, but finding it to be too heavy. However, the body turned black in front of their eyes as soon as the liquid was pushed out. Therefore, the liquid was promptly replaced, and the blackness soon vanished. In an instant, the woman's whole body looked normal again, even her cheeks blushing. After being sealed, the sarcophagus was placed in a cellophane bag and taken to the helicopter with the remaining mastic. Next, they gave the order for everyone to go. The helicopter took off, and it vanished in the direction of Novosibirsk. After a while, an old professor from Novosibirsk traveled to Rosavjic and spoke at the local club about the preliminary findings of his laboratory research. He predicted that this finding would drastically alter how history is understood as a whole. Scientists from the Soviet Union would soon reveal their results, shocking the scientific community. The lecturer asserted that the unidentified woman was buried millions of years ago, which seriously undermines Darwin's theory. The woman was buried in the Carboniferous Paleolithic, millions of years before the dinosaurs and long before hard coal formed. At that time, Earth was thought to have been a planned kingdom, according to modern theories. The coffin was originally located in the center of a dense woodland thicket within a wooden vault. Over hundreds of millions of years, a monolithic coal seam existed, without access to oxygen, as the vault and all surrounding plants sank into the earth. At first, the woman's origins were believed to be extraterrestrial, but a DNA investigation revealed that the woman's physique was 100% similar to a modern Russian male. We are precisely the same now as we were millions of years ago when our ancestors were. Nevertheless, the woman's degree of civilization transcends all knowledge, including our own. As evidence, for instance, by the fact that no contemporary scientific analysis can determine the composition of the fabric used to make her dress. This material's manufacturing apparatus is not human innovation. The professor stated that just a few of the fundamental components of the pink-blue liquid, which are derived from ancient kinds of onions and garlic, have been identified. The makeup of the liquid itself remains unknown. Regarding the metal box, which has been studied, nothing was said. A few days later, a brief article about an archaeological artifact that was found close to a Rosavjic hamlet, and that sheds new light on the past, was printed in the local media. The local newspaper carried merely 3 sentences and nothing more, shocking the inhabitants. All this would have gradually faded from memory, but before long the military had suddenly barricaded off the Tosulsky District. The police had marched through the yards, wresting the ridiculous newspaper number from the populace, and the location of the coffin had been carefully excavated and covered over with dirt. Even so, one individual dared to contact the Communist Party's Central Committee, but he passed away from heart failure officially before he received a response. Then, one by one, the other 6 coffin discoverers perished in auto accidents within a year of each other, permanently silencing the direct witnesses to the coffin's first finding. Situated about 6 kilometers from the site of the sarcophagus discovery, Lake Birchcall's shoreline and islands were the scene of significant summer excavations in 1973. When the authorities believed the situation had subsided, soldiers and police had surrounded the location throughout summer until late autumn. Though inebriated, one of the excavation workers said that some old graves, potentially dating back to the Stone Age, had been found on the islands. True, he wouldn't give away the specifics, but the brick-colored helicopter and the excavations had been spotted by others. The only thing the locals knew was that they had discovered Stone Age burials. The journalist who had written about this discovery vanished from view and then returned, claiming he had suffered as a result of its publication, had been targeted by the FSB, had nearly died, and had been forced to give up writing. One of the major TV networks then reported on the Tisul discovery in the movie. 2 additional sarcophagi discovered in Birchikal were added by the TV reporters. While the finding's age has decreased from 800 million years to 200 million years, the broader narrative has not changed. The issue lies in the fact that it was initially devoid of any veracity. Since there was an open pit in place of the mine, and no coal had been extracted there on an industrial scale for 30 years, blasting operations could not be conducted at the coal mine in 1969. There are Stone Age mounds and a cemetery close to the settlement of Rosavjic. However, there are no islands in Lake Birchikal, and no mounds surrounding the lake, which was supposedly excavated in 1973. There is only one Stone Age, 300 million years ago. There was no princess who could have lived for so long in the most dependable sarcophagus, and definitely not one who was of Russian ancestry. It was not possible to have genetic expertise in 1969. On the other hand, journalists simply retrieved the papers from the previous century's 1970s regarding the finding of the Tisul Princess and reproduced them virtually verbatim, fusing the information from the various notes from that era into a cohesive whole. Subsequently, the publications' descriptions of the enigmatic artifact did not match. First, the find's actual location was altered. Second, the person who found the sarcophagus underwent a transformation. Third, the story ends with the princess being loaded and carried away. However, it is unclear what happened to the casket and the liquid. Professional journalists attempted to speak with locals after the publication, but they were unable to recall any archaeological discovery that even slightly matched the sarcophagus's tale. Indeed, a number of open graves were reported by quite genuine witnesses, where the deceased appeared to be living. The most well-known of these tales is the finding of Marcus Tullius Cicero's daughter's grave in the Middle Ages, when construction was underway on the Appian Way. The girl slept in flawlessly preserved garments, her coffin filled with transparent embalming fluid, and an internal lamp illuminated the area at the foot of the one grave. However, The lamp extinguished the moment fresh air entered the tomb. The terrified medieval people shut the tomb right away. There are also known cases that are comparable. Chroniclers reported that lovely females were occasionally pulled from the tombs and attempted to rouse them. The bodies disintegrated and became black once they were in the air. Occasionally, archaeologists also have the good fortune to unearth something unexpected. Chinese archaeologists found a tomb in Hunan province in 1971, within lay the exquisitely preserved mummies of Shinjui, a noblewoman from China. For 2 millennia, it had been buried in 4 interconnected sarcophagi, covered in the heavy layers of clay and coal. What's even more intriguing is that the yellow preservation liquid covered the entire body of the elderly woman. But the embalming concoction vanished as soon as the tomb was opened. Soon after Shinjui's tomb was discovered, notes concerning the impressible body from rye, the miracle elixir, and the marble coffin appeared. However, the report that caused a stir was probably based on the actual 1993 discovery of a perfectly preserved Yukuk princess in Altai, not on the tale of a medieval chronicler or a Chinese relic. Thanks to another preserving liquid, regular water, which had solidified into ice, the princess, or rather, a young shamanist who passed away in the 3rd century BC, appeared to be alive. However, the princess became black, and her clothes started to fall apart as soon as the ice started to thaw. The unusual find might have been lost, but only the archaeologists' deft work saved it. Why did reporters choose to bring the old documents back to life? Specifically because it is really similar to the Princess Yuk, who lived a very true life.